Welcome back to Afro Chess. I'm Zola, your host, as we unravel the beauty of African chess. Today we'll be looking at a game from the 2025 Kenya National Chess Championship with the white pieces CM Robert Oluka, the current Kenya national champion, versus Kenneth Omolo, 19-year-old looking to extend his reign. We kick off with a King's Pawn game and Black responds with a Philidor. You know it's going to be a long grind when you see the Philidor on the board. All players setting up their pieces. H3 forces the bishop to commit. He decides to slide back. Knight. This showed the potential knight reroutes in the position. Maybe it could go all the way to f5 and create some problems on the king side. Bishop to g5 washing into the game. And we do see knight to h4, clearly aiming for the f5 square at some point. We do see a knight jumping into f5 and a5. The simple idea of ramming all the way down into a3 and messing up white's coordination over there, looking for potential infiltration and maybe some queen a5 ideas. Get queen to f3. It's very clear where both sides are attacking. White is looking for some blood all the way here. Black is going to try and come in like this. Maybe try to get the king that way. We do see a4 and h5. d5 strikes right back in the center. Yes, both sides were attacking on the flanks, but a central strike is always best. d5. The idea of d5 is very well timed, frees up the pieces and doesn't allow white to, concentrate everything at the innocent black king over there. We see a trade in the center. Knight takes d5. a3 stops that pawn. Another trade. c4. That's interesting. Maybe some positional idea. There's something Oluka didn't like about pawn takes d4. But the engine says it's completely fine after this trade. Maybe didn't like this isolated pawn. Anyways, who am I to say anything? I'm sitting here with an injured. Did not have to calculate all this rolling. The knight does drop back to f6. We see h5. Knock knock. Trade on f5. Black's better here. He plays pawn g6, pushing back the white pieces. Kind of a scary move to play as you allow white to open the h file, but you're completely fine, as after that you're going to liquidate pieces and bring out your queen very actively. Kenneth goes for a simple idea here that has a similar effect. First, he trades rooks on e1 and queen to a5. Forces a queen trade on the spot as after the rook moves, since it was attacked, just gonna chop off the queens and solidify his extra pawn. White may be a national champion, but he's down a pawn now. He's fighting for a draw here. I see a trade on e4 and rook to a6, some active chess. If you take my b pawn, I swing to b6 and take your pawn on b2. Rook to d2 defense. Rook moves over to b6 to defend. Bishop d8 tickling the rook. The pawn is won. And now pawn to g6, wanting to get rid of that annoying pawn on h5 and also create some space for the king. The king moves into the game. See bishop to d5, tickling the rook once more. It moves back, bishop to h6, knight to g5. Ooh, and a trade. Is that a free bishop? I meant over here. There's nothing free in this game. So you take this bishop, you're going to resign in the next two moves, as after you move your king, your rook drops the promotion, and now you're just down an exchange and losing the game. Nothing's for free in these games. So we saw a trade on g6. Bishop repositions to d6. A trade is offered, denied, as the more pieces that are off the board, the more drawish this gets despite being up a pawn. King advances a bit. f3 is given a question mark. Why? I guess it weakens the squares a bit much. Knight to e5 and we have very clear intentions, potentially putting serious pressure on the white position. For example, if you make a natural move like, I don't know, king to e1 here, maybe moving towards the center, well, you're immediately in a lot of trouble as the black pieces swarm you very quickly, putting a lot of pressure on your position. And you literally don't have a move. You can't move the bishop, you're going to drop this, can't move the rook. And the king is stuck on the background. Let's say you make a random bishop move. You just trade on c1. Give a check on f4. King moves back this way. Pawn to d3, and you're in a lot of trouble. That pawn's running. Can't even keep your rook defending b2 as it's gonna get forced off the back rank. All these squares are covered. It's gonna get forced off the second rank, I mean. It's really ugly. That's why the best move, ironically, was playing bishop to f4. Losing this pawn to the tactic where the knight takes while defending the bishop. And looking for active counterplay on the 7th rank. Pawn starts rolling. National champions can be worse, but they still keep fighting. You don't win by just getting an advantage, you have to convert it. Bishop repositions to b5. You have bishop to c1. King g5 wins on the spot, as the way you win this endgames is you infiltrate with your king and then start moving your pawns in an organized manner not to get blockaded. Bishop c1's fine, it's a time scramble. The pawns on a file drop and it's getting a bit easier to draw as long as white can set up a blockade and not allow the black king to infiltrate. This should be a draw. Pawn is sacked, a trade, g5. It's a dead draw. As long as the black king does not get in, it should be an easy draw. But looking so easy, the black king has made some significant progress. Bishop to f2. Black is definitely better, just needs to be patient and get a way in. Whoa, what just happened? It was completely winning a second ago. Bishop e3 was the wrong move. This things are so drawish. The correct approach here was king to g4. Are you trying to get in through h3? No, this is drugs. This is drugs. This is just a draw. But there were the spikes in the evil. White's working his way back up the clock. Shouldn't it? Well, the last thing you want to be here is down on time, as that is when you'll make an inaccuracy and allow the king in. King to c2, a very accurate move. You cannot be allowing this king into your territory at all costs, as if that king gets in, it's not a draw anymore. The king is going to keep disturbing and look for a way into the position. Bishop just keeps shuffling. As you can see, the bishop came back to defend h3 square. You cannot allow the king in at all costs. It's just a draw. The players will offer handshakes at any time from now. We'll look us back up to 9 minutes. Nothing to worry about. And the king got in. Oh my god. The hell? How did the king get into b2? He had to play king 2. What was the correct move here? It was a draw a second ago. What just happened? Oh, he had to keep the bishop on e4 and play something like king to c2. Yeah, as I said before, the king cannot get in at all costs. Bishop e4, bishop a8 was a natural move. He's been shuffling the bishop the entire game. Can't believe that at some point it was going to cost him the game. Now the king is in and it's about to get really, really ugly. King's making some progress. And what happened here? He resigned? What? It's back to a dead draw. Oh my god, he resigned in a drawn position. That's crazy. He must have thought it was still completely winning. The winning move was just gonna show you how this game would end. Bishop to e3. Let's say the king moves to f3. This looks natural. We get bishop f4. It's a very slow process. You can't take this bishop as this pawn runs. The correct move here is bishop to g6. What the hell is g6? Just waiting. And now you push the pawn. First, if the bishop sacks itself for this pawn, well, then you have this pawn and it has the correct promotion square. You're going to win this game. It's a very patient process to win this game. You must have thought it's a win over here. Oh my god. National championship is crazy. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you have any other interesting games you'd like me to cover, drop a link in the comment section. Peace out. Thank you for watching.